Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Morning Hustle. This dude, man, he done messed around and dropped the album of the year. Like at the beginning of the third quarter. What's going on here? Detroit 2 is the project. He live with us right now. One time for Big Sean. What up, Jay?
Woo!
Sir, what up, though? What up,
We're
man?
in this thing.
How y'all feeling?
Yo, we
Oh,
feeling
yeah.
great, man. Very proud of you. Continuous growth. Who is Big Sean in 2020 compared to the Big Sean we met on Finally Famous?
Man, well, I'm somebody who, I definitely have gotten better, not as an artist, just as a person, somebody who's grown up. I've had to deal with just a lot of things that I didn't even know existed, like, for real. I had to deal with a lot of emotions. I'm not an emotional person. My grandparents, I come from like military grandparents. They was in World War II. They didn't show emotions like that, and that trickled down all the way to me. So when I got to a certain point in my life, it was just like, I lost connection with my passion. I wasn't hungry anymore. I was depressed. I had so much anxiety, and I felt like every day was just a struggle to get through, So I had to really go explore inner space, right? So when I did that and did therapy and really started connecting with myself a little more, really being serious about my meditations and really connecting and figuring out what I even love to do again, like I could truly say that I went to a higher version of myself, and I'm just a way more polished version than I was from my first album.
You talked about that on your album too, because you even talked about like thinking about suicide and stuff like that. So, and then you did, like you said, talk about the meditation. So how did you get to the point, or what helped you get to the point where you kind of pushed those thoughts out of your head?
I mean, honestly, I just kept my faith. I didn't give up, and like I have faith in the universe, that the universe is supporting me and that God is supporting me. I have faith that, okay, even things may not be going how I want them to, but maybe God is steering me in a different direction to go on a bigger and more beautiful path, So once I surrendered to that and really put attention into myself, that helps me be happy. One of my things is, if we in control of our feelings and can't nobody else control them unless we give them the power to, like, then I'm gonna decide to be happy. Now, granted, there are days where I wake up feeling super depressed, tragedies happen, I have a lot of anxiety still. I go through a lot of the things I always go through. I just know how to deal with them a little better. I know how to get through them easier now. And that in turn makes me be a more productive and person who comes from the heart,
Right.
Yeah. Now, you talked about that, a lot of that, as well as Dr. Sebi, and how what you're eating and how your diet has changed. And even when one of the bars was, "You're not going to easy eat me, no vaccination." So my question is, with you being so awoke about your diet, what you put in your body, and vaccinations, how are you dealing with everything as far as this COVID, your diet, and just your thoughts on us getting vaccinated in general?
I mean, as far as the COVID thing, I've been keeping my immune system up. I take so many supplements and vitamins and, things that really work for me. And to me, that's been one of the most important things, is taking care of myself these last few years. That's like my first priority, because when I'm taken care of, then I can take care of everything else properly,
Right.
So, with COVID, I take my precautions. I know it's real. I don't really go out that much. I definitely mask up. Last night I didn't, though. For my album party, we had like 20
we've
people.
seen that.
Just take your time, bro. Come on, man. You got to put that.
But everybody I know on there, we all had taken COVID tests in the last couple of days. So I just trusted people. But, I'm trying to figure out, what was the other part of that question?
Dr. Sebi, and your diet, you talked about that.
Yeah.
And Dr.
Yeah, Dr. Sebi. I mean, that's something that even me and Nip had talked about a long time ago. And just like, I'm into holistic health, especially after the heart situation I had when I was 19, where this doctor told me he had to cut my heart open to put a chip inside of it, because my heart was beating. It's supposed to beat with an electric current, but my heart was beating more like that. And I couldn't walk from one side of the room to another side of the room without getting like super tired. So You know, he said the only way to fix it was to put a chip in my heart and it shock my heart every time that happens, or to cut half of my heart open and scar it and then sew it back up, and then the electric currents will run through those scars. But then my mom took me to a holistic doctor, to Dr. Brownstein. Shout out to Dr. Brownstein in Detroit, or in the outer skirts of Detroit. And he gave me magnesium. He gave me a couple other things, but magnesium was the thing he gave me that was like, this is a way of naturally putting your body back on its rhythm that it's supposed to be on, you know? And I went back to the doctor to get this surgery that we couldn't afford, and they had to do another checkup on me. And they were like, man, actually your heart is improved so much. Like, what did you do? You know, they were like amazed. And it's just like, I literally just took magnesium, and they were blown away.
Wow.
Yeah,
the way you was able to, tell that story on Lucky Me, it was just like we felt like we was in the hospital, the doctor's office with you, because doctors is always trying to sell you some drugs
always
you maybe don't need, and you just maybe got to switch something up in your diet. So I'm glad that your mom's listening and magnesium you up so you could, because things get completely different.
Yeah, and things are very, we're individuals, so things are very particular sometimes. There are a lot of times where doctors misdiagnose something because they're looking it up in a book, but it's like it may be something that just needs a little correction, Mm-hmm. One of the things that also helped me is getting a ALCAD test, which was like seeing what foods I had real high sensitivities to or like was allergic to. It told me the foods that I didn't know that I thought I was doing good eating kale. Like, I'm not supposed to eat kale. Like, that's bad for me. Or bananas, or pineapples. Like, I thought I was doing good throwing a banana in my smoothie and drinking almond milk. I'm not supposed to eat almonds. So it's just like,
it was messing you up.
Yeah, when I changed that and found that out, which by the way, that test is not expensive. So people should do that at, maybe a couple $100 or something like that at the most, but it's worth it though, because you figure out I swear to God, my whole face changed. It was like I lost so much inflammation and my face cleared up just by slightly changing some of the things that I was eating.
I was going to say, you also hit the gym. You good at that. And one thing that happened was you put up this picture where you were kind of doing pull-ups. And the lady said you was thirst trapping with everybody because you had on some great sweatpants. So was you really thirst trapping, or was that a mistake? Because we seen your whole print.
Nah, that was a whole mistake. And even the thing is, I was even talking to Jhené about this. Like, I never even heard of no print. Like, I never even like. That's something that must be newer because that's just like a whole thing. But
it's the man camel toe. Like, it's
I started being a little more conscious of it after that. But I didn't even, I feel like I had clothes on, so it's like.
So no OnlyFans coming no time soon.
I don't think so. No, that's not on the schedule.
Okay.
Yo, women be out here just as wolfy as the men. Like, they be paying attention to everything. Now, you mentioned Jhené Aiko, and I swear, watching y'all whole thing transpire is like watching a real-life episode of Insecure. We never know what's going on. But for y'all, every step of the way, sort of visuals for body language, the tease the joint. Oh, man. Like, there's been numerous
I love that record, by the way.
I quietly said to myself, like, yo, Big Sean, the luckiest motherfucker in the world. Like, I'm just saying, how is it to watch your whole life play out in front of the world, whether you realize it or not? Because they watch every move y'all make, they pay attention to every lyric, every line. How is that wearing your whole heart on your sleeve like that?
It can be frustrating sometimes because people, because we're humans and we make mistakes sometimes and we learn. So it's like, people will pick you apart sometimes for just being an individual and not living up to their expectations that they put on you without you asking for them, Mm-hmm. But it's definitely worth it though, like I appreciate her and I think me and her have learned a lot from each other, taught each other a lot, respect each other's privacy enough to where we still can like work on ourselves separately and then bring our best selves to a situation. Or if it's something we disagree on, we've definitely learned to approach things better and like know how to handle it very, very well now. So it's great.
What do you say?
Well, you did open up.
That you learned from Jhené.
Lessons I learned from her?
Yeah, and vice versa.
to really be mindful of your words. That's one of the things I learned from her. It's like to really be mindful of what you're saying and like what it really means, as opposed to, there are times to speak from the heart, right? Like a time like now. There are times to speak from the heart, and then there are times to speak with intention and times to really think about what you're saying, because, it's very important. It's very important. So I learned
Now
that from her.
you did open up on that song that you had with Nipsey, and you talked about how y'all lost a child together. Now, how did that affect the relationship, and how was y'all able to get past that? Or
Ooh,
did y'all get past it,
that's a, I don't know, that's cool. That's a little, I don't really want to talk about that, but
Okay.
it definitely is something that when I said that on the song, it was, it was because it was real, and it was because it was, I know people go through that stuff. So I just wanted to let people know that I'm a real person too, and I go through things like that as well.
Right. Okay, well, let's lighten it up. She gave you the nickname Rabbit, right? So where did you get that nickname from? And does it have anything to do with making her come 9 times in one day?
No. Doesn't have anything to do with that. It's like it's like very just like it's between me and her, I don't want to put some things you just got to keep sacred, even though I know I did put it out there, right? But it's just some stuff between me and her, but It ain't nothing kinky or like freaky or nothing like that.
Right. Do you have a nickname for her?
Yeah.
What is it?
No, I can't see that. That's what I'm saying.
Come on.
The next thing you see on the screen is gonna be hers. Wave it. Nah, but
Yeah.
but that's the dope thing about you, Sean. Like your transparentness in your music and your willingness to freaking compete at every level. I mean, like I can't think of somebody you haven't rapped with, and like it really just got the fuck off. Like let's talk about Friday Night Cypher, where you damn near had. It's easier to say who wasn't on the song than to name everybody that was on the song. So let's prove yourself for the situation, Sean. Who had the hardest verse on there?
Removing myself from the situation, right?
Yeah.
Because I really like my verse on there.
I do too.
Thank you. To me, well, Eminem rapped the longest, so I feel like he got off. He got to really show his versatility, you know what I'm saying? And to me, being from Detroit, it's like he is one of the people that was at the top of my list to, if I ever got a chance to work with anybody, I would want to work with Eminem. You know what I'm saying? So this is actually the 3rd song I've done with him. And every time I do it, I just like can't believe it, So he has one of my favorite verses. Royce, Cash Doll went in. I feel like everybody did so good. I feel like everybody
own thing too. Like the lyrical guys kept it in their pocket, the street guys kept it in the street pocket, but it still equated the same. But like Am's notorious though for sending in like a 20-bar verse or more. Like has there ever been a situation where like you know where you want the song to clock in, and then like you get the verse sent in and you're like, damn, all right, I can't have him redo it, but I'll put these bars on here.
All the time. I mean, you send Eminem like an open verse to a certain length, and then he'll send it back with like a minute and a half or 2 minutes of rapping. But you can never, you never are disappointed though. It's always like, oh, okay, like damn, I guess this is what it is now, And he has just an energy to him where he's so special that it's like you got to let that rock. Just period, all respect. You know what I'm saying?
So you talked about on live how the climate is right now and how Detroit is not really unified. So this is one reason why you wanted to do Friday Night Cypher to kind of get the city together. Is there anyone that you may have had any differences with that you recently squashed it with, or that you might want to piece it up with?
I mean, I never really had differences with anybody that deep at all. Like all the differences was always like some internet stuff that got misconstrued. Like even with me and Kendrick, like when we spoke and like, reconciled and showed, we showed each other our respect for each other. And it was just like, we brothers, you know what I mean? So it's like, it never even was anything there. It was just like some internet stuff. And because I mean, really, we ain't got time to be beefing with each other. There are people on that Friday Night Cypher who had beefs with each other, that I told him, I'm like, yo, you see, we getting shot in the back out here. There's people getting killed, and they strangling us and hanging us. So it's like we ain't got time to be making each other the enemy, bro. We gotta stick together and rise up. It's time to unify. Like, fuck all everything else. You know what I mean? So that's just where I'm at. We kings out here and they treating us like we not. So it's like kings and queens, and sisters and brothers. So we gotta go out here and show them that. We can't be looking and having a civil war between each other.
See, I love that you could unify people in your city, because sometimes people come out and they rep their city, but they don't really care about the other artists in the city, like piecing them up or anything like that. And you also do a lot of giving back. Now, I know usually it's during back to school. So how did that kind of affect you this year? Because I know last year you did a big thing in Detroit for the kids going back to school. So how did that affect the whole situation with your foundation now that the kids are homeschooled? Or did you still have a way to do something?
Well, we still have a lot of programs and things I do with the Boys and Girls Club that, we have to do a lot of online events and things of that nature, but it's heartbreaking, man. And it just goes to show you how you can't take anything for granted. That's one of the things, like losing all these people, like Chad and Nip and just everybody that we lost, like Kobe, how we lost, I feel like we're all unified in that, of going through these ups and downs, and then also going through our personal ups and downs. But it's tough to deal with, and it's something that it takes a lot of like motivation. It takes a lot of inspiration, and that was my main point of making this music, was to, because you could pick apart bars all day. Somebody could be like, oh, this shit whack, or this is tight, or, we all have our own taste. But one of the things that you can't deny is energy, So I wanted to give people energy to the ones who needed it.
Is that what keeps you in the game? Because, like, there's been times where, like, I've listened to you rap, and I'm like, you know what? Big Sean might actually be one of, like, the top 3 people actually rapping. So once you reach the top of that mountain, right? Where the fuck do you go? You've out-rapped a lot of people that people love. So, like, so once you reach the top of Mount Olympus, you hold your sword up, you let lightning strike it, where do you go from there? Like, does Big Sean still make music when he's 65? Is that a thing? Because you talk about, it ain't about just rapping. Like, you do talk about some dope things. So how long do you go with it?
I think as long as I keep coming from the heart, because that's where I feel like at one point before this album, I was at a point where I couldn't think of anything. I was thinking, damn, I might really be done because I can't think of anything, until I started coming from it from a point of it being my purpose in life, which I feel like is to inspire and not be worried about what everyone is thinking, So like I ain't rap about one brick on here. I ain't rap about hitting nobody girl on here. I ain't rap about
True.
Drip on here, but it's still bang to me. It was music that I was feeling, and I felt like that was absent from, where we was. And by the way, I love, I think I love all that, by the way. I'm not hating on that. I'm not saying that's bad. That's just where I'm at. But I mean, I be banging all that too. I love all that, and appreciate it. But I just wanted to give where I was at personally, because I feel like there are people who can relate to that, and that was missing, so yeah. And when I look back on life, I want to look back and say, damn, I really contributed what I could to it. You know what I mean? I really did my part, and not just sat around and thought it. I actually did it. So I think I can go forever.
Let's talk about Guard Your Heart with Anderson .Paak and Wale. So on there, you said conflicted like being signed to Ye and managed by Jay, conflicted like being cool with Pusha and Drake, right? So have you ever tried to mend any of these relationships, or do you just mind your business and stay out of it?
Yeah, I have tried to, and but then at a point you gotta let people, people have their own individuals, because I feel like it is time for people to be unified. Like, if you ain't got nothing that's like, unless it's a thing where like somebody killed your relative or best friend, those are things that get a little deeper, right? Where it's like, that requires a little bit more of, that's like a real beef, when it's like, you're scared for your life. But when it's just like somebody says something about you, or these are like, that's elementary school type stuff to me. You know what I mean? It's like, that's what you do in elementary school. You get, they talk it out and they apologize to each other. So it's like, sometimes when I see grown men, I'm not talking about anybody in particular, but when I see grown big people that have a disagreement that could be solved in a 10-minute conversation, it just irritates me, you know. And I feel like one of my things I love to do is I love to be the missing link to, you know, a bigger change. So like sometimes I'll try and do whatever, but as far as the Ye and Jay and pushing Drake thing, like yeah, it has gotten awkward for me, you know, because I am cool with them, and I've been with Kanye and Jay, and they've been cool, and then all of a sudden they're not cool, and then or maybe they are, you know. So it's just like
You don't want
it
to
puts
get
me in a
involved.
weird. Yeah, one is my manager, one is who I'm signed to, you know.
It never be like a situation where someone will talk smack about the other one and see if you'll like add on to it, right? Like they don't play you like that. Right?
Nah, and it's two separate things. Like Kanye, you know, that's my brother who put me on and discovered me. Like I'll always be, you know, I love him for life. So it's like no matter what, and you know, me and him have arguments sometimes and disagreements, and we talk it out, and that's what you're supposed to do, you know. And
Do you
Name on
do
the
you love
ballot.
him enough?
Are
Oh,
you
sorry. Do you love? Go ahead.
do you love him enough to vote for him?
That's what I was gonna ask.
Are you voting for Kanye West on November 3rd?
I don't even think he's on the ballot though, right?
He's on some ballots. He's made it some places.
No, not in. I don't think not in. Is he on in Detroit though? In Illinois, he's not.
Not in Illinois, not in Detroit. Weird places like Utah and like Maine.
But if you could vote for him, would you vote?
Well, then that answers your question. Then, hey, come on now, we can't be talking hypothetical now.
Come on.
We have to think logical. We have to think logical. We have to think
You're
logical.
funny.
That's all. I'm gonna leave it right there. We have to think logical. Can't be thinking hypothetical.
So you talk about him helping put you on, and I heard that you're starting a brand new label and you're about to be putting some other people on. So who would you say is next up and got the big stamp from Big Sean?
Well, for sure, Sada Baby next up. He's already.
I love Sada Baby.
Okay.
Yeah. Cash Kid, you know what I mean? Cash Doll's up now, you know. Who else? Drago. There's a few people on that Friday Night Cyber who I really believe in that people may not have known as much as like, you know, some of the other people that were on there. Mm-hmm. So there's a few people in my city. Drago, Bino, who else? I mean, it's a lot of people for sure. Yeah, Band Gang Lonnie. Yeah, it's a lot of people coming up from the D, so I'm excited about that. I feel like when people come up from the D, I feel like even when I met Sada and met T and like they, you know, a lot of people they always tell me in one way or another, like, man, like you made it real for me, you know, like you gave me the inspiration to really do it. So I appreciate that.
Now that truly brings it full circle, like the song, for real, man. There were like so many things you touched upon about like, you know, dates that lined up with successes. Like that was super dope. Now, like, you know, recently, you know, we chatted up with 2 Chainz, and even you saw it on the blogs. He was talking about like, yo, I had the hardest verse on Mercy.
Right.
So when you heard him say that, what was your initial reaction?
I was like, man, I had the hardest verse on Mercy, but then I was like, I thought about it, and I feel like we all brought something that was very unique to it.
Special.
So maybe, I mean, 2 Chainz, I can say 2 Chainz had the hardest verse on Mercy. That's cool with me. I fuck with, that's my brother. So he really had a moment on there for sure. I feel like I had a moment on there as well. And I feel like that's why we all were on there.
I heard your name being mentioned a lot in these versus battles. A lot of people want you to go head to head with different artists. Would you ever consider doing a versus? And if so, could you think of somebody that you would want to go up against?
Would I do a versus battle? I don't think it's time for me to do one yet.
Got the catalog.
What you mean yet? You got mad bangers.
Are you kidding?
Yeah, I mean, I feel like I'm gonna have more, so I might as well just wait. You know, like the best ones to me are like the real seasoned artists, the ones who've been in it for 20 years, you know, or plus. You know, like watching Brandy and Monica, like the Teddy Riley Babyface, you know, or in like the the Snoop and the DMX, you know what I mean? Like those are like my favorite ones. I think like that's the time to really do it, you know. And now it's just kind of like it ain't the right time yet. I want to give it a little more time before I do that.
That's dope. Hey man, question. All right. So on the story with Dave Chappelle, I love how he reiterated the fact that he had that bombing moment and your dad was there to witness it with you. And it was funny to me because I've bombed, but I've also had a lot of fun performing in Detroit. And my question for you, I guess, is really centered around what's the hardest place for you to perform at, or where's the worst performance that you've given a bomb that where you were just like, yo, this was terrible. So
I want to piggyback. Have you ever got booed?
In high school, I was doing a talent show one time and started to get booed a little bit because I was so nervous. No. Yeah, I remember they booed me off, and I mean, I had people, friends in school too, so they was cheering for me too. But I think what happened was I was rapping and I like messed up or fumbled like once or twice. Cause it's just nerve wracking, you know. I was like 15 years old or something like that. And then another time in Detroit, I was performing with Wiz Khalifa and I hit his bong before I went on stage, and I don't know what the fuck he had in it. It was like it was like wax. It was like some type of wax or something, and I was so stuck that I went out there and had the worst show of my life. But I think everybody was so high that I don't know if they even like remembered it though. So.
How long did the high last, Sean? Because some of them weeds they hit different.
It lasted like hours, man. And I remember just going home and feeling so bad. I felt so bad, but that was a good moment for me because it taught me that nothing lasts forever. So,
Mm-hmm. I can't even believe it, man. So at the end of the day, the album Detroit 2 is out right now. I have to say, a lot of albums start hard, but then they kind of limp away. The last 3 records, when you first flipped the Simon Says sample or the Godzilla sample, I'm like, sacred ground. Then you start snapping. Holy shit. Then that record's crazy, right? Then Don Life with Lil Wayne comes on. I'm like, yo, these niggas touching human nature. Wait, Nas did this. There's no way Sean could yo, I'm
killed it.
So, do you? What is the process going to even picking the beats that you pick to snap on? Because it's very, no one's ever said Sean pick whack beats. Whether you're doing a collabo with a whole producer for the whole time, like what you did, I believe, with Metro Boomin, you and Mike Will are seemingly in a good pocket. What process do you go through to pick it out?
Man, I am one of the hardest artists to work with, bro. I am so particular, and I'm sometimes it takes me a while, I'll work on a song for months. I have the producer change the beat. I'll be add this, change, even for the intro of the album, I was that was the 5th version, the 5th beat Hit Boy had to make. Me and him were yelling at each other, man. We had a real confrontation at one point that we were pissed off at each other because he was so frustrated with me, because that's how I am, I'll just later on, I'll be like, I don't know about this. And I'll be like, what, But so even for Don Life and things like that, I really, really just have to feel the beat in my heart, man. And that's just how I pick it. And even when I play it, I don't let people throw me off. Cause I remember when I was playing a lot of my album for J. Cole and just kicking it with him. That's we've been, friends for 10 plus years. And I was sending him stuff and he was just, rocking with it. And he was just like, oh, the only thing about the human nature sample has just been done a few times. I don't know if you want to do that, and I remember Kanye said something similar to me too. And they weren't knocking it though. They just were it's just it's been done, but it's no, I'm gonna go ahead and do my shit on it. Watch,
now
you know what I mean?
That thing, we watched David Blaine do some dangerous shit and pull it off. Some dangerous samples and pulled them off. And was that a live band on Still I Rise? A live
audience? That was live. Yep. And for the baddest, which we flipped, that was actually the Simon Says, and there was a Detroit record though that was really just viral and local in Detroit called Godzilla, and that people were jitting to it, doing all the footwork to it. So that was the true inspiration of that song, is me flipping it that way. And then I remembered that also was the Simon Says too. So, you know, I do what I do, man. I try hard. I work with great producers, you know.
I want to change the topic up a bit. There's a show that you're on that I love, and that's 20s. So how are you going to be doing more acting, Sean? Because I thought you did a good job in there. I actually thought you didn't have a phone in real life, and and you walked everywhere you went. So,
Yeah.
so what's
So I
going on
got
with the acting side?
Yeah. Well, I talked to Lena Waithe like a couple of days ago, and she hit me up about the album, and you know, I had her come through to the house and kick it way a long time ago, and then she introduced the role to me for that show, and I did it, and I took it very seriously. So I'm glad you liked it, and
Yeah.
season 2 of that is in the works, and I am on season 2.
Oh,
Congrats
yay!
on that.
I made the cut, and you know, acting, I was acting before I was even rapping. I'm not gonna lie. Like, I used to do plays because my mom was an actress at heart. So she had me in like doing plays and doing Shakespeare, you know what I mean? So it's always been like in my heart. I wouldn't say it's my first passion and my first love, but I'm very passionate about it and I do enjoy it a lot. So
Is someone walking around right now with a VHS tape? Are you like doing like Hamlet or some shit? Like,
somebody got something like that for sure.
Romeo and Juliet.
I didn't do the play I did the Shakespeare, but we did 2. One of them I remember was The Tempest, and I'm pretty sure I played the Prince in that, something like that.
I can't wait.
Well, let's find out.
Yeah, like somebody come up with that. But like, you know, mention the TV. Sometimes people find themselves on reality TV, competition shows. Nothing like a couple of rehab and nothing like that. But like, could you see yourself doing like a Dancing with the Stars? Does Big Sean have the footwork to possibly come home with the Mirror Ball trophy?
Well, can do anything. I am unstoppable. So I
Okay.
could. I don't necessarily want to, you know, right now at least, but you know, I'm definitely somebody who I'll never shoot anything down all the way, you know. I'm open-minded.
You did shoot down having 10 baby mamas, though. So I think
Right.
that's a safe thing to say. But are you thinking about having kids anytime soon?
Yeah, of course. I'm thinking about it, yeah.
Like, would you name your first boy? Would you name him Sean?
You guys gotta wait and see. I don't know.
We might be seeing sooner than we think.
I think that's one of the things that everybody on this planet, you know, they eventually. I mean, not everybody. There are some people who don't want kids, but yeah, I definitely for sure, you know, want kids. Yeah.
Well, yo, man, I hope everything that you are aspiring to do comes true. So far, so good, man. You are cooking the world right now, man. And yo, congrats on Detroit too. First thing you do once COVID's over, what's the first thing you're gonna get to?
I want to do a show. I want to perform live for like the people who got love for me and the people who are rocking with the music. That's the first thing I want to do is like do that. And I want to go. I can go to the movies now, but I'm waiting to go to the movies. Like I love going to the movies.
You gotta go see Tenet. If you ever got a chance to get like the sneak preview link, like yo, John David Washington did his thing in that joint.
I know. How did you see it? You went to the movies?
I went to a screening and then I went to go see it. Like it dropped Wednesday, so I went to like the first showing when like people wasn't breathing heavy yet and sat way in the back because I'm terrified too. I walked into the theater like I was handling plutonium. Like I was sitting down, masked up, but yo, it was.
But are the theaters even open by you, Sean?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, I wasn't sure.
Well, no, they're not, but I think they will be though. I think they're starting to open up.
Well, well, hopefully you get to go back to doing what you love, man, and continue cooking up that music. The album's called Detroit 2. Available.
Yes,
shout out to you, my man, and God bless everything you got going on, G.
Hey, I appreciate y'all, man. The Morning Hustle. Thank each and every one of y'all. God bless you, man. And I hope you enjoy the music. Keep rocking with it. And, you know, thank you.
Yo, let's touch something off the album real quick. What you want to throw it to?
Let's see. Let's go to Body Language. I want to hear that with me and Jhené and Ty. And then I want to hear Lithuania with me and Travis. And
yeah.
Yo, that video is dope. Is that inspired by Dr. Sleep or The Shining by any chance?
Yeah, The Shining, yeah.
It's a movie over there. Tell.
Yeah, you know what's up.
Yo, man, well,
Yeah.
shout out to you one time for Big Sean. Here go, body language. And we're going to chase that Lithuania right after it, man. It's the Morning Hustle.
We are the Morning Hustle.